We're just gonna have a lot of fun here today, guys. It's gonna be a lot of exploring V8 and what we can do with V8 images. Yeah, I'm just super curious what we get into today. Um, I don't
Oh,
nearly,
funky.
yeah, I don't have near. Oh, hey, fun guy, good to see you, man. Um, what is it? We've been working a lot on Grimware, uh, the dark fantasy, not dark fantasy, just dark robotic stuff, and I feel like a little burned out on it, honestly. So like I wanna just do something completely different today. Um, we need V8 in Discord. I know. We're gonna be doing a lot of like guided results today when it comes to V8 because yeah, we are limited to using just the alpha website for it. So
V8 will be completely different next week.
oh, different next week. Good, 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 good.
Nice. You heard it here first, guys. This wasn't
I
a
mean,
secret announcement.
they did put up a poll earlier. It's not that secret.
Yeah.
Quick run to David. Tell him Ancient announced something.
I'm not giving you a set timeline. I'm just saying might.
Might, yeah. Might.
Yeah.
That's the important
right,
word
right.
here.
Mm-hmm.
828.
I mean, we all know it's 2 weeks. 2 weeks out. Compasta 8.2 is also in 2 weeks.
Uh-huh.
It's,
Yeah, we're gonna land on
also,
Mars
version
in 2
9
weeks.
comes out in 2 weeks.
We've reached the singularity
No.
in 2
Mars.
weeks.
Landing on Mars, like building a colony on Mars, is like fusion. It's always 20 years away.
Uh-huh. True.
All right. Well, whenever you guys are ready, let me know. No, we'll press the buttons.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Oh.
good to go. Kinky will be up here in just a moment, but I'm good.
Yeah, maybe we wait a second for
Yeah.
Kinky.
Until she's actually on stage.
Yeah.
I see she's in the audience at least.
Yeah.
She's making her way downtown. Moving.
Watching my iguana do his good night ritual right now.
Does
He's
he
climbing on
scratch?
his pillow.
Okay.
He's climbing on his pillow, and he's running around in a circle once. Then he's putting his little arms as wide forward as he can.
Uh-huh.
Then he wiggles around 3 times, and then he's flopping the arms back, press them against his body, stretch a little bit, and sleep. That's
Good.
what he does every single time.
Very
Your
cute.
iguana does that?
Yes.
Oh.
It's adorable, and I imagine he's just kind of a forever puppy, you know. Always just kind of do. I always imagine iguanas are basically puppies, with how intelligent they are.
He's more like a cat, I would say. It's similar to a cat.
Oh yeah.
He does his thing. He's very curious. He needs to inspect everything. Um, he has clearly his own mind. He knows what he's forbidden to do, and he wants it anyways. Um, he knows when you're talking to him, but he doesn't care.
Yeah, very cat-like then. Hey,
Like talking
Kinky.
is for people.
And he's guarding
Hello.
his bowl of food for like until he gets more food.
But it's good to have you on the stage here, Kinky. I think we're good to go now.
All right. Pressing the buttons.
Thank you for all the links.
Of course.
Button 2.
Awesome.
Uh-huh.
Welcome everybody. We're gonna give a minute or
Hello.
so.
Oh no.
Well,
Oh no.
What?
Oh
What?
no. Oh
What?
no. We're
What?
missing something important. Ah, where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
You figure that out.
There.
You figure that
Okay.
out. Okay.
Now
Okay. Yes.
everything is fine.
Repost it
Double
twice.
button.
Double buttons. You know, like when you push 2 buttons at the same time. Yes.
Mhm.
This is great.
You need one more for like Control Alt Delete.
There you go. Well, we'll give a minute or so for folks to roll in here. Thank you all so much for being here. Hey, Enid, good to see you. We're gonna be doing
Hello.
we're gonna be doing some V8 explorations today. So after folks get in here, I'll explain how we're gonna do that because we have a couple limits to how we can use it with Discord. But I hope you guys have had a wonderful Friday. I've had a whole lot of nothing that I've been doing. I've been sleeping a lot, so I hope you guys have been able to be rested and comfortable today. What is it? Oh, hey George, good to see you, buddy. And at least for me, we are going to be going a little bit out of the norm for today because I really want to see how you guys are pushing V8. I really want to see
But
what
I like inside the norm.
you like to be in the box where it's comfortable. No.
Yes.
we have to get outside of our comfort zones and see what other people are doing outside, touching
I'm
grass and
scared.
stuff. I know. It's scary, but we have to touch grass sometimes, and this is going to be one of those touch grass moments.
Fine.
As we lock ourselves inside the Midjourney box and explore V8 for 2 hours here. But thank you all so much for being here. My name is Victor Gnarly. I'm a former visual effects artist with Adult Swim. I worked on shows like Robot Chicken, Moral Oral, and a bunch of others, mostly stop motion shows. But I'm joined here with Rhapsody, Kinky,
Hello.
and Ancient. You guys are awesome. Thank you all so much for being here with me.
Howdy.
It's good to see you guys. And by getting out of the box, I really honestly mean that we're going to focus a little less on illustrations and anime today and more on just the sheer range of V8 and how we can use it for making original characters and stories. So I'm frankly really open to what we're going to do today because I really just want to see the full range to the point where the first thing I'm actually going to pop in VC Create for you guys is something that has nothing to do with animation. Inside of VC Create, which you'll find VC Create inside of the Discord server here. You just scroll on down, and just above the stage, you're going to see VC Text and VC Create. VC Text is where we're chatting on the left side of the screen here. And VC Create is where we're going to be prompting stuff. But the thing is that VC Create only has access to V8 through /show or otherwise bringing in our job IDs into this channel here. So I'm just going to explain how to do that first. So I want to see your best V8 stuff that you've made so far. I know that some people have had some issues when it comes to making certain things with V8. And Bert is actually mentioning them, one of them there, which is some illustrative stuff can be a little rough. And I found that it's because I'm missing certain things in my prompts that I didn't have to add before. And we'll get into all that here in a bit.
Yeah.
But
Maybe we can have a short little look at illustration stuff.
Oh, of course. I mean, we're going to look at all of it. I just
Yeah.
want to have a big diversity here today, just so we can see what everyone is able to get into. Because I'm sure that you guys have made a couple of favorite stuff, and I want to see them today. So the way that you guys show things from V8 is you first go to alpha.midjourney.com. That's going to take you to your access to V8. Currently, V8 is not available on the bot or the main website, so you have to go to alpha.midjourney.com to get access to it. And in terms of capability and all that stuff, that's largely what we're going to be exploring today. But what's cool about it is that you can basically click on this more button right here. Once you've generated something you like, you can hit more and then copy and then job ID. This is going to copy a job ID, which is basically just a direct linkage to that prompt so that you can go inside any Discord channel now, hit /show, and then paste that job ID into VC Create. I know it's an extra step, and I know that you guys aren't prompting directly into Discord, so VC Create may be a little less active today because of that. But I really want to see what you guys can do. And my example for this is just 1950s educational television depicting a man crossing a river with a puppy above his head. And I just did this just to give you guys an idea of at least in terms of what I've seen improve a lot with V8 has been a lot more towards realism than illustration, but it is something that I'm curious how far we can push in either direction. So I just posted this simple 1950s television here, but if I hit re-roll, if I try to submit anything like that, it's not going to work. So I need to now go back over to the AlphaBot here, and or alpha.midjourney.com, and I'll hit use. In fact, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here so you guys can see this a bit better. There you go. And what V8 does really, really well is text. So, like, let's do a 1950s educational television title card that reads, How to Save Puppies. There you go. And the idea here is that, at least what I wanted to demonstrate to you guys, is that one of the big improvements from V8 is text retention. It does really, really well at doing even like complex jobs to the point where you can say, like, I have 6-panel comic in mind, and each panel has specific speech bubbles, and it'll get all of it. It is really good at that. But when it comes to, and I'm going to bring this up here as another example. I'll just scroll on down here. One of the things that I've been adding to illustrative prompts has basically just been the like no blurs and no textures, because a lot of times the results that I'm getting tend to be like almost like photos of illustrations on the wall as opposed to the illustrations themselves. So you kind of need to limit even more than in the past what V8's outputs are, because it's not. It doesn't mean when you ask for a drawing, do you want a drawing that's hung up on the wall, or do you want a drawing, or do you want a photograph of a drawing, or do you want like an actual like digital art piece, that kind of thing? We're basically going to have to narrow it down a bit there. All puppies deserve love, indeed. But you can see here that we actually get some really, really great title cards off of these off of V8 here. So in VC Create, I just want to see what you guys can do. So feel free to post in there, and we'll see what you guys do and update back on this channel kind of regularly, as opposed to staying on this channel throughout the stream like we usually do. But when it comes to like at least for me personally, I find that I'm oftentimes trying to push what are its strengths. So like let's immediately go into one that has some pretty complex like prompt direction here. So the more I'm writing in V8, the happier I am with the results that I get. But I also have various SREFs that I've been exploring. But I wanted to show you guys exactly what I mean by this this issue of the like if you look here, I have these results from this prompt, and this prompt is a 3-panel comic, man with spiky black hair, tired eyes, sharp facial features, rough black ink manga art style, cracking a smile, about to laugh. That's a pretty standard prompt for me when it comes to describing Victor, who's the character you're seeing talking to you right now. But in terms of these, you can notice there's like the reflections of a photograph of like as if I turned on the flash on a camera. You're going to see that pretty often with just asking for these comic panels. But as soon as I add clean line art, no textures, and no blur to the end of the prompt, those go away. They just give me the straight digital art again. And that is going to be kind of I feel like the learning curve here is seeing these kind of issues and then going, okay, yeah, I need to avoid photographs. I need to avoid that stuff. But we don't have like no and certain other features within alpha right now. And that's fine. That's the point of an alpha, is that it's very new and we're very much experimenting with it. And we don't have all the tool sets we're used to. So we're going to bring back some of the V7 and V6 tool sets to make more use out of these.
V5.
Yeah, even V5, yeah.
Yeah, like in my personal opinion, V8 is a lot like V5. It knows a bunch of stuff that Midjourney didn't know before. It has lots and lots and lots more data and a new baseline on how it's working. It's completely reprogrammed, right? So to me personally, it feels like it has an immense capability for very, let's say, not so good results. But equally as high is the capability of producing like astonishing, wonderful, detailed, crazy stuff that wasn't possible before. And so what we need to do is control it a little bit more, right? We need to emphasize what we actually want a little bit more. And the benefit with V8 is that it has this crazy good understanding of prompts. So we might see a little bit a return of these V5 style, let's say, coordination prompts. I would say we could call them like these snippets like Victor just showed. It's really important to hone in more, like to tell it more exactly what you actually want, because it's capable of doing so much more, if that makes sense.
There's a lot less
if you have
hand-holding
somebody-
in V8 than there is in previous
Yes.
versions. That's for sure.
Yes. Yes, that's something that is worked on, right? The default aesthetics should look good even if you don't know all of these things. So that's one area of improvement right now. But for the time being, right now, we need to be exact and tell it what we want.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes to an excessive degree as well, especially since we don't have any negative prompting. We can't, like, avoid things necessarily. I do want to point out that we already got one. I see Rhapsody got a the scene shows a highly detailed octagonal spaceship platform floating in space in front of a paper mache planet, and that's great. Just straight up making these old throwback sci-fis. And what's really cool, like, this is something that I absolutely love about V8 is that when you transcribe this stuff to video, it's insane. So, like, I'm just going to animate everything that's especially old television. I'm just going to straight up animate it. Because I was really tripped out by one, and the main reason I'm bringing this up here is because everything that you guys generate with some sort of, even if it's like QVC sort of television stuff, like trying to sell products, I would love to sell fake products. That sounds like a ton of fun to me. But the way that it's able to animate the black and white stuff is insane to me.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. What I want to see is derpy lizards in 1950s sci-fi movies as aliens. I want to see weird black and white television monsters and stuff. That would be fun.
Oh yeah, I would love to do like a monster movie, 1950s monster movie, Creature from the Black Lagoon kind of stuff, right? Like just straight up old fashioned black and white. But if I now search for toast on my history here, we are going to get the result. No, not Michael eating toast. I don't need Michael eating toast. Okay, here we go. I made a little example here of what is so powerful about doing this throwback television is how to make burnt toast. And this is I just extended this one, so like there's various. These are all going to have a little bit of a wonky ending here, but I just absolutely loved this whole shtick of using old title cards in order to kind of force the beginning of a something from the far past, and we just kind of take it from there. We'll see what we get off from you guys, because we're going to take these and then animate them. Let's see, did this animate? Yes, it did. Let's take a look at this. All right. Yeah, so we could start to zoom in and go into this spaceship and explore the what these guys are doing. So like we could say here, all right, let's animate this with high motion, and we will say that this is the 1950s spaceship cockpit, and I want to make sure that we do a slow zoom transition to a 1950s spaceship cockpit, because we're already punching into this ship, and we would just go into there. Are you trying to make U.S. currency? What are you doing here, Bogman? The United States of America with the federal. Okay, I see what you're doing there. It's certainly true that you can do a lot of really funny stuff when it comes to like text and number retention in general, like just being able to write stuff and have it transcribe well. I'm very curious. How deep we can go with that. Let's see what the low motion did on here. And the low motion spun the spaceship around. Like, that's really cool. We could definitely use that. So I'm going to upscale that one as well. But let's take a look at some of the other ones here. We have one from Enid, a multi-panel comic book, many panels, a line drawing of Enid with pink hair going through her day, heavy inked comic book page, detailed link ink comic book style. I don't know what detailed link ink means, but I mean, these are cool. In terms of like telling a story with this, it's actually quite easy to do. So if I were to take Enid's prompt here, I think that was a typo. Okay, all right, I'll address it. I'm gonna show off your typo to everyone else. But what I'm gonna do here is I am going to paste Enid's prompt into here, and you notice that she has a profile attached to it. We'll be exploring mood boards and profiles today as well. But the idea here is that we want to tell a little bit of a story with this, because right now, like we said with V8, the more you describe about your intent, the better the results are. So right now, it's basically, let's see, many panels, a line drawing of Enid with pink hair going through her day. So let's say now, instead of many, let's see, a line drawing of Enid. Okay, instead of saying a line drawing of Enid, we're going to say across multiple comic panels, depict Enid, and I'm going to use Enid with a capital here, and then I'm going to get rid of the start of this prompt as well. Let's just start off with those. Across multiple comic panels, depict Enid with pink hair going through her day, heavy inked comic book page, detailed link ink. Let's just do detailed ink, and then I'm going to add the little addition that I had earlier: no blur, no blurs, no texture. And then we'll just leave the comic book style in there. Let's see what we get off of that by comparison. So earlier we had, basically a range of a girl getting ready for her day. And then with this one, it should be a little more beginning to end. But we'll see what we get, and we can kind of decipher what we want to do with it from there. Okay. So it is one of those things where you guys are going to see this image improve as we keep telling it more specific stuff to do. So let's go ahead and take a look once it's finished rendering here. And we do notice an uptick in quality with HD as well, which is to be expected. So we see that she's walking with a dog here. She's got a coffee that she's going to get, and then gets in a car with that coffee. There is a little bit of a linear story that's going on here. But what we want to do is, what if we say now in this prompt, we hit use, and then I say after the across multiple panels part of this prompt, I'm going to say in the first panel, she wakes up with bedhead. In the second panel, she brushes her teeth. And in the third panel, she, in fact, I'm going to not separate these out with and. I'm going to say that each one is its own sentence here. So in the third panel, she brushes her curly hair straight. And what I'm assuming is going to happen here is that she's going to have curly wild hair for the first two panels, and then straighter hair. And lastly, in the fourth panel, her hair is long and straight as she puts on her makeup. Now, I don't know if you put on your makeup first or brush your hair first, but, we're just going to go with it. We'll see what happens here. And the thing is, the last thing I'm going to actually change is the aspect ratio. So this aspect ratio is, you notice that it really wants to do double pages, and that is because of its width. It's currently set to a 1711, essentially 4:3. So I'm going to set it to something like 4:5, which is like a vertical page. If you're using like Instagram or Reddit or anything like that, 4:5 is basically the new standard. It used to be 1:1 or square, but now it's more of a rectangular, like phone shape standard across many of the websites. So if you are making these kind of stories, I do recommend using 4:5 as your final image aspect ratio, but also it kind of helps encourage the results to fit within that aspect ratio. So let's see what we get off of this by comparison. Almost done here. And while we're waiting here, I'll go ahead and copy these job IDs. Copy. And then paste that into VC Create, and we will jump back into all the awesome 1950 stuff that you guys are doing here. But I just wanted to make sure that folks like Bert got the illustrative review from me, because I do think that there is value to it, and we will be using it as like image prompts and omni reference with older models. But it is certainly something that it's a learning curve for me as well. So I would.
I have
go ahead.
gotten a lot of good results in V8, but it took me a lot of experimentation with it. One key realization that I had was that V8 is it's designed, it works better with personalization and srefs in mind.
Yeah.
So attaching these to your prompt, first activate raw. Activate raw, because that deactivates the standard styling. Then input your own personalization / mood board. Add an sref on top and push stylize to the maximum. This will ensure that you're getting the most out of your P code or your mood board. And the sref will be followed to an extreme that wasn't there before. The standard sref version that we have right now is creative and really, really good. If you switch to --SV6, you get Stylize on steroids, which will also pick up any little problem that you have in your reference images. So, but you can experiment. Like, we have tested both sref versions extensively with guides and mods, and the reason why there is two is just because one works for the one kind of person and the other one works better for the other kind of person. So if you're having problem with the standard in V8, try SV6.
Yeah, and it's kind of amazing how Rhapsody and I fall into separate camps here. You know what I mean? Like a lot of my prompts tend to be very short and opinionated. Like I really want Midjourney to be opinionated with the results, and Rhapsody's like, give me all of the tools, give me all of the controls. Like I want to write much more than Victor does, and you could see that there's a bit of a balance that has to be struck here. But I wanted to show in terms of sorry, go ahead. I'm sure you had a rebuttal.
I'm just gonna share a few prompts from my anime stuff in VC Create too.
Yeah, let me make sure we focus on that here. And meanwhile, I will bring this most recent prompt that involves Enid to this as well. So let's see here. There we go. Copy job ID, and then let's bring that into VC Create.
Stuff.
And I see Nixie as a graphic novel, bold marker and ink, various thicknesses depicting on space explorer that encounters a fuzzy space creature that appears to have scales on its underside, as well as the ability to shift their eyes to any side of their body in the first panel. A surprised captain reaches his hand in the second panel to show that they are friends, with a speech bubble in the third panel that says, "Hey, buddy." They stare at each other. Let's take a look-see here, because it's definitely interpreting the order of like the panels and the text correctly, but I feel like we could tighten up a little bit of the wording when it comes to identifying what each thing needs to be in each panel, because in my opinion, I get better results by putting in the first panel then the sentence, then a new sentence in the fourth panel, a new sentence, so on and so forth, clearly separating each one of these panels into its own kind of segment of the prompt. But go ahead and let's talk about this, because this is what I'm excited to show you guys today from Rhapsody.
What do you want to talk about?
There's a lot here, because look at the size of this prompt, guys.
Yeah, the prompt is insane, but it's very detailed and it's also kind of necessary. The first thing I want to point out is the beginning. That's actually something that I learned from Compasta, a spectacular high-budget 2022 anime TV show screenshot capturing whatever you prompt. I think this helps a lot with clarity and specific style. Hard word there for a moment. Especially the 2022. Like V8 knows a difference between like old styles, new styles. So defining this is important. If you want a more modern style, then you need to define it. Then if we just look through that prompt, capturing a female dark fantasy hunter flying forward at supersonic speed. Okay, that's just what I want to see. Supersonic speed for some background blur and stuff. Then descriptors like the scene conveys raw kinetic power with the character entirely surrounded by a fierce crackling aura of dark purple lightning and electrical sparks. That's a bunch of words there. Usually, previously, I would have said something like the scene conveys something. Doesn't really work. But in V8, it really does. If you define the mood in your wording, it helps a lot. And then after that, I have the description of the spell for the character. She's a beautiful girl with dark tan skin and so on. Adding a few extra words here and there that we would have left out previously, like striking round, gray purple eyes, long straight white hair whipping wildly in the wind. You see, there I applied a little bit of the learnings from prompting video models with like having verbs in that prompt that convey motion, just because I wanted to see her hair being affected by some kind of wind. It's in this specific image, it's not in there, but yeah, in general, it tends to help to just give it more things to work from. Yeah, then there's more character description in there, and everything has its detail. Everything is described. All of that is important to describe this specific one character. And at the end, I end with cinematic composition, glowing neon purple lightning, intense motion blur in the background, just as normal. Now, when we come to like adding more descriptors, basically, then when it comes to the parameters, in this one, I just went with raw, my profile, HD and quality 4. You can combine HD and quality 4. I wouldn't recommend you guys doing it because it's extremely expensive to do so. But it can result in just amazing outcomes. Like especially, I love HD. I hope that Midjourney gets there to have the HD mode being the new default. Like there's experiments right now going on so that it might be just the thing that goes forward. I'm really pressing everything that I have, all the thumbs and toes that this happens, because in my opinion, V8 and HD it's just glorious. Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. And I do want to show that I have benefited from using conversation mode, which was a recommendation from Rhapsody.
Yes.
And that is because conversation mode is going to make your prompts more and more complex as you use it. So if we go ahead and say, and I'm going to jump back to Enid's little getting ready for her day comic here, but to turn on conversation mode is pretty cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit this little icon right here. And conversation mode cannot be used with like images or like style settings or anything like that. But what we can do is use it more as we would talk to an LLM, right? So let's go ahead and just copy Enid's prompt in here. And then I'm just going to make sure that it includes the aspect ratio, AR45, AR45, and HD as well, because that works as well in conversation mode. And
also, one thing in between, just before I forget to say it, in my prompt, I had a lot of like descriptions about feeling and scene and stuff. These prompt anchors for style are important if you're using the standard stylization version of V8 that we have right now, so SV7. If you're using SV6, it's not as important because it will just take whatever you have in your sref and maximize that. And I'm also gonna post a video in a second about the stylize parameter, and then we can talk about that. But first, you finish.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and submit this conversation mode here. We can turn on the mic as well and actually talk directly to Midjourney in order to use this mode. But I'm just going to use text for now because I'm talking to you guys. I'm not talking to Midjourney. I'm talking to you guys. So let's go ahead and hit submit on this. The main thing that comes back to us here is that it will basically reformat the prompt based on what, you know, it thinks is going to give us the best results here. And you can see it immediately reorganized the description of panels as panel 2, not comma, colon, she brushes her teeth. And then it's separating things out in completely different ways than I did before. And look how different the results are just off of that. Now, we're not using her profiles yet. We're just getting the wording right because we are then going to reapply Enid's mood board to this result after we have the composition and art style that we want. So now I could say, let's make sure all the line art is clean and crisp. And just like talking to an LLM, it's going to review your prompt based on what you wrote and actually try to tweak the prompt to lean towards that result. Because right now, we are definitely seeing a bunch of really nice stuff, but it varies a lot in the art style that's being used, right? Like this looks like it was done on markers with on paper. Same with this one here. But as soon as this is much more digital art, and let's take a look at what we get off of just making that one tweak here by comparison, because now I'm gonna say something completely different. And you can see, look how clean the line art is here by comparison. So now I'm going to say, actually, let's do rough black ink manga as the art style. And that's the benefit of conversation mode here, is that we don't have to think like a robot. We don't have to think like how the machine is thinking to put things together. We can tweak these results to lean us in a direction that might be better by the default Midjourney standards. So now, once we have something that we're like, oh, yes, this works compositionally, otherwise just with like this in terms of the goals I'm looking for, are they achieved? We can now take that and use either run the same prompt and include her mood board, or in more exciting ways, in my opinion, actually do remixes and variations with these edits. So let me show you here. So you can see here, this looks like it's just straight up a photo of art in a sketchbook, right? This is where the no textures, clean, yeah, and we're getting some of that here. Okay, yeah, this is way more interesting to me right off the bat. Let's go with this one here because I like this. It follows my prompt almost exactly. It has Enid's pink hair is well on display here, but now let's try this. We're going to use remix here, and if you do not see the remix function on here, just click on more options and then turn on remix right here, because by default that's turned off. Now with remix, we are going to first make sure that we have Enid's mood board saved. So I'm going to copy that really quick. Just a second here. I'm going to hit use and then copy her. Oops, I forgot. I have to turn off conversation mode here just to get this mood board link here. There we go. Oh, I can't copy that off the floating button here. Okay, hold on a second. I have to shrink my screen a bit. There we go. Oh, hold on a second. I am going to have to do this a bit more manually. There we go. I think that should work. All right, now let's go to hit use here. And now I'm just going to add her mood board into there. And you see that it added her mood board right here. This will just run the prompt as it is, and we will see what it looks like. But what I'm more excited to show you guys is actually the remix mode where we hit subtle right here. Subtle is going to preserve the composition the best that it can, while strong is going to allow for the composition to change, but keep a lot of these core parts of the image. I just really like how goth this version of Enid is here. So let's go ahead and do both so you guys can see. I'll now paste her mood board into here. Did it do it? No, it's just blank. It's posting blank space. Let me go ahead and grab that code from a different page here. I'll just open up the alpha again here, just so I can easily get it. There we go. Copy. I'm having a lot of trouble copying on these little buttons here because like I can't highlight and cover and copy this, so I'm just gonna manually write it. FM1 LLEY. I think that's it. Yep. Okay. Copy. And then hyphen, or just let's see. Am I able to post that by just the code by itself? Let's see. P, yes. Hyphen P, and then paste the code. All right. Now I'm finally ready to do this. Hit submit. We'll do that with strong as well. Hyphen P, paste that into here. Okay. I see you posted that for me as well. I didn't see that, sorry. Okay. Did it in conversation mode profile, and this is amazing. Thanks. I'm so glad you're getting used out of the conversation mode because it really does help for V8. But let's take a look at first the variation subtle. You could see that it does a remix variation subtle. And you can see, look how much more of like character there is. Like this is so much more Enid stuff right off the bat. The pink is the right color pink. It's not like almost like a purple. Like this is the right pink for her. And I think this is a lot closer right off the bat. But it's also a very a remix subtle, so it's trying its best to preserve the composition that was already there. Bubblegum pink, there you go. But if we do a variation strong, on the other hand, it's going to allow for these compositions to better fit with our mood board as well as just the final results. So look how damn cute some of these are. I love that it's able to get all these clean results off of this. So let me go ahead and I'm going to copy the job IDs for both of these just so Enid has it. And then we're going to dig through VC Create and see some of the cool stuff you guys have been working on because I already see a bunch of them.
Oh, yeah.
Copy job ID.
There's a bunch of stuff. Especially Enid Space Comics. It's so hilarious.
Let's take a look here. All right, we got Fungimancer with anime webtoon depicting the back shot of a female Drow elf ranger wearing a black plate armor and crimson red engravings. She has a fantasy helmet made of colorful stained glass covering her face. Her long red hair are appearing behind the helmet. The Drow ranger is kneeling on the edge of a tall cliff far above the ground, my bad, and is aiming for her longbow toward a targeted below. Ready to launch an arrow, far below her there is an underground river with glowing crystals on the edge of the river and a pack of albino orcs. Wow, there's a lot. Running near the river down below. Top-down shot, the scene takes place inside of a vast underground cavern. You see, I see Experimental 5 is also on here. I have not actually experimented with Experiment at all. I'm very curious what your experiences of that Fungimancer, if you don't mind kind of explaining what your logic is for why you used Experimental 5 here and what are the values of it. I'm very curious. But look at this. Okay, so because of the overarching like structures and whatnot of what's in this prompt, the orcs got completely ignored. It's also very towards the end of the prompt. So if you had the orcs more towards the front, we'd probably see them more in the prompt. But but in terms of the art style, I mean, and the structure of it, it's amazing. Like I love the bows that are being pulled here. I remember how notorious AI was bad at making bows, and Rhapsody's very familiar with bows. It's very easy to go like, oh God, why can't it? It's so frustrating to see when someone pulls back on a bow and it doesn't actually pull the string back or anything, or it has two arrows sticking out of it or whatever. There's all sorts of issues that we used to have with bows, but now Not so much. In V8, it seems that a low experimental can make quite the difference. High experimental falls off the same style mostly, but low experimental just adds a little extra flavor to HD. I really dig it. Okay. Yeah, we should give that a
Yeah.
try.
Yeah, EXP, it applies kind of a dreamlike filter on top of the thing. It also allows, in my opinion, for stark light and dark contrasts. So adding a little bit of it just fits perfectly with Fungi Mancer's style in total. Like this hazy background thing
Right.
that he has going on in these archer shots. That's a direct result of EXP.
So I do the arrows. Ow, my skin. Yes, I love this series, by the way, Homestar Runner series. Yes, this is so good. Teen Girl Squad. I just remembered it. Yes, Teen Girl Squad. But let's see here. I do want to point out there is one image from Fungi Mancer. I'm gonna have to grab it off another server really quick. You guys won't see this for a sec, but there is one image from Fungi Mancer that I just absolutely loved. And I think it really shows off what you can do at V8. And so sorry to ask you to type out a monologue, another monologue here, Fungi Mancer, but I just want everyone to really appreciate this image because we would never have been able to do this with a previous version of Midjourney. Have your magical day. As written by a skeleton with a stick in the ground, all correct, all right. Like this is really fantastic with mushrooms growing out of his head. I friggin' love this image, man. You really knocked it out of the park with this one, and I didn't even see the prompt, so I'm curious to see that as well. But this is one I had to do a shout out for. But let's see here. I'm gonna double back again here. I see we got some more fun stuff from Enid here. We have a little video from Golem. He just all excited cat girl stuff. Yes. This sort of forced perspective, by the way, where like you have this sort of wide angle like it is interesting to me, but it is one of those things that always throws me off a little bit when something doesn't follow the wide angle on one side of the screen, but something does on the right. It's partly why this might feel a little bit like it's two different videos happening at the same time. The Midjourney video is really relying on having a good first frame, like a good composition that makes sense for that reason. Otherwise, you kind of get this weird parallax effect. But let's keep going a little higher. See what else we got here. The anthropomorphic Easter egg. Yeah, that's creepy. The shorter your prompt is, the more likely you're going to creep me out. I'll be honest. Like there's an element of weird that definitely applies. It's almost like you turned on the weird setting for very low.
I do it on purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. I bet
I
you
like
do.
making things look a little grotesque.
So let's see. Fungi Mancer said that this image here, this one right here, this one is the result of a long back and forth between I Troll For You and Fungi Mancer in the Enchanted Forest thread on our server. It's using his Enchanted Forest mood board, and we tested many things with the mood board in V8, panels and all, and oh my, we had fun, and it was crazy. This particular image was made by I Troll For You. Okay, I Troll For You. The thing is that we don't have signatures on our images, so I apologize immensely when I get this wrong. But if I see whoever posts the image, that's the person I'm going to credit, and I apologize when I get this wrong. I have seen some like random upset about this, about like me wrongfully crediting people on images. There's no way I can get this right every time, so I apologize about that, but it is true. It's very easy. It's very easy for me to be like, oh, you did an amazing job, and this image is not even made by that person, right? Victor, you have flaws. Of course, this is where I excel is in my flaws.
He's perfect. He doesn't have any flaws
There's
at all.
nothing wrong with me, Dad. He is pretty gnarly. Yeah, I'm all bent up and.
I mean,
ahead.
Just go on and post a chicken in VC Create and see how he derails into something completely different. I mean, we started this thing today with, we're gonna doing a 50s TV show. Now we're back into anime.
I know, and this is what I was saying.
No,
I,
no,
I,
no, 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 no,
yeah.
no. It's okay. It's okay. We got asked for it. We're gonna do it.
Right. On the
yeah.
topic of 50s television, by the way, this sci-fi show, the current show shows a young man in a silver coat fighting a lizard man with a sword. Well, we don't see the man holding a sword at all. The sword is being prompted into, like, we see it's in the lizard's hand, kind of. It's not really holding it correctly, which is going to be what encourages the video results to be pretty wonky. As soon as something is not anatomically like correct, it's going to be a bit weird. And I see Rhapsody started animating some of these mushroom strains as well. Okay,
Yeah,
here
I
we go.
wanted to see that. Does it look good?
Yeah. Let's see here. Let's take a closer look. The fourth one's pretty cool.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's upscale that one. And I want to take a look at this one up here really quick because I saw that someone upscaled this one. It's like he's holding a coconut. Okay. Ooh, same mood board panels are respected very nicely. This is awesome. Yes, I've been loving what you guys have been doing with that Enchanted Forest stuff, and we're going to feature some of that here today. But you could see that it's certainly almost like it's using a specific kind of brush, right? Throughout these panels here. Even the panel separations are kind of broken up by this brush pattern. So the reflection is what I appreciated most in the eye. Okay, yeah, right. Yeah, it's like the reflections are being shown. I bet you had that in the prompt as well, that you would see the reflection of whatever was in the third panel. Or yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. So what I'm gonna do from here. Oh, this is definitely fun to try. Yeah, look at Lizzie. Lizzie's doing it. All right. Yes. Okay. This is awesome, Lizzie. Be sure to share your prompts, guys. I'm going to have trouble explaining them without the prompts, so I would really appreciate it. This is awesome. Great work. Let's go ahead and slide on down here. Okay. All right. So, Rhapsody, do you want to, like, I see here we have ooh, I love these Undertaker ones as well. Midnight
Yeah,
Masked Man.
I'm just working. I'm just working right now with Bert's prompt because he provided an example of Niji to V8 where he's having problems. So I'm right now taking his prompt and looking what's possible with transforming this to V8. Like I just ran this right now with V8 as V6 and raw and a high stylized value. And I think I got pretty close when it comes to how it looks in comparison to an EG7. The only problems I have right now with it is that like the shading, the line art, it doesn't really look as clean. So in my next try, what I added is things that all reinforce like less levels of detail in the image, like 2D cell shaded anime illustration, or a vector style shading. And I'm just gonna see what we get. And I think this is already pretty close if I just upscale the last version here. Like I think that's already pretty close to the Niji style that we had. Of course, it's version 8. It has a broader data set. It's not optimized for line art heavy stuff. But I'm curious to hear what Bert says about this result and what your issues would be with that. Like through your lens, Bert, if you look at the last image in VC Create that I made, what's the problem?
Right. And while we're waiting on that, I think one of the things that really excites me about about what is it at least for version 8 for me is that I can take these images and bring them to an older model. I promised you guys that we'd do that as well, where we could actually use this image, take that previous prompt that and run this as an image prompt on top of that to preserve the composition and some of our favorite stuff from this image, but then use a model that isn't in alpha and isn't currently being refined to be able to finalize this image. So we'll probably get into that in a little bit. bit, but I did ask a couple favors from people in the chat first, so I'm going to go over their prompts. Let's first do Lizzie's here. Lizzie's is a comic book page, multiple panels, female with short silver hair. Panel 1, she stands on the rooftop at night looking over a neon lit city, wind starting to pick up around her. Panel 2, her eyes begin to glow as lights flicker faintly in the clouds above, strands of her hair lifting. Panel 3, she raises her hand and a bolt of lightning cracks down into her palm, energy spiraling around her arm. Panel 4, she's fully powered, cloak whipping violently as the sky tears open with lightning behind her, rough black ink manga style, heavy contrast, sharp line art, detailed ink, no texture, no blur. And following right in line with what we were expecting, as soon as we have all those limiters installed, this looks amazing. I love all these results, honestly. And we could go even farther by including more more mood boards, or by including SREFs, and we'll see how far we can get. But this also seems like a very strong benefit of conversation mode with the way that these are being prompted here. So that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Lizzie. And at least for this here, across multiple panels depicting a strange enchanted forest, first top panel shows a backshot of a hooded humanoid figure with antlers entering through a wild wall of leaves with glowing flowers and strange glowing mushrooms. The wild leaves wall is opening like a curtain, strange colorful light spores coming out of the opened wild wall of leaves. And you notice that the way that Bert's describing a wild wall of leaves is being redundant here, and that's good because you're essentially establishing the wording of a subject in your prompt. So you don't want to keep rephrasing the same thing in different ways if you want to reinforce what this thing is. So that's really good that you did that. And before we even dive into the other panel, I'm basically going to break up reading his prompt into 4 pieces here. You could see that it's exactly as described. The wall is opening up like curtains, and we see these colors and whatnot. Are they specifically mushrooms? A little bit here and there, but they are colors that evoke that, and that's good. That's because it's all within the brush and the art style here. So that's great. The second panel shows a close-up of the hooded character's eye wide open. In his eye, we see the reflection of the silhouette of a nature spirit, a transparent floating ghost skeleton lady with green dress and green hair. She has dark black antlers and wears a small crown in the pond. Okay. So, let's see, was that the second panel or the third panel? Okay, it's the third panel. So with the second panel, we see basically that long description of the character that's going to be featured in the third is already in the second panel to make sure that the eye reflection is correct. You might even be able to get away with reversing the second and third prompt and say that the image that's in the second panel is in the eye of the third panel. Things like that might save you a little bit of space here, but generally speaking, this is the right way to do it because you're very much over describing what we want to do. Let's see here. Third panel. And the third panel shows a backshot of a hooded antlered character standing inside a beautiful magical grove looking at the detailed floating ghost skeleton lady. Giant water lilies floating on the magical pond, a massive nature spirit floating above the pond. And there you go. That's pretty rad. It's pretty rad how it's able to go, okay, these are similar shapes, similar descriptions. We're going to make this the same character and have that be described. And then the last one, the fourth panel bottom, shows a close-up of the crowned ghost skeleton's face screaming with rage as she flies towards us at high speed. A screamer vision. Her skeleton hand opened the foreground as she tries to grab us. Okay, wow. And also describing things from the first person. It's trying to grab us. It's trying to take us. It's trying to run off with us, that kind of thing. Those really do better than, say, describing like over the shoulder or other technical shots. Being first person helps a lot with also videos. So instead of saying, instead of saying the subject runs towards camera, otherwise it's going to generate a camera. We say it runs towards us, and that will evoke the image of something coming closer and moving. Good to see you, Noob Lady. Take care, all right? It's good. Thank you so much for joining. Oh yeah, referring to the other pantasuits to work also not always, but it does happen quite often. Okay, cool, yeah. But the main thing I wanted to show here with this, outside of just the wonderful length of this prompt, is I want to show these mood boards off really quick, and I'm going to show you guys a really neat way to do that, a way that you guys are quite familiar with if you're regulars here. But we're going to go to alpha.midjourney.com, and I'm going to include 2 quotes, paste the profiles into the bar here, and I'm just going to hit enter. Just with 2 quotes. We could also just use a period as well. I've seen people do that as well to do this. Whether you call it a void prompt, a null prompt, I've heard it called a couple different things, but it's a really easy way to quickly experiment to see what these combinations of profiles are doing and what sort of imagery it really wants to lean towards, because there's just no information that's in here. Now, I will put a note of caution about this. Because we are relying on nearly nothing for these results, it can heavily break whatever you're kind of expecting out of these results based on the wording of your prompts. Essentially, it's as easy to break it as it is to make it work. So what we're mostly learning here is how it's handling light, whether or not it's focused on subject, characters, or something in between. Or, I've seen mood boards that are just toy collections, right? Just like pictures of toys, and all the results look like plastic toys. But you could just do a couple words and no longer are we leaning towards that. But as soon as you use SV6, everything is always toys. So we'll experiment a little bit with that, but I want to take a look at what we're getting here with these null prompts. And you could see we get the bloom, the texturing, and all the stuff that, like, if you're just trying to make an image asset, can be really kind of frustrating because they get in the way. But we were able to add back those things that we learned at the beginning of this stream in order to clean up that aesthetic a little bit. But you could see the Enchanted Forest mood board is amazing. Like, I love this combination here. But there is something that I want to show you guys. If you reverse the mood boards, as in you put them in a different order, okay, they will come out different. So if I go ahead and hit copy job ID onto here, and then I paste this at /show so you guys can see this, I am going to -P. And once this comes back at me, I'm going to grab the mood board here, and I'm going to reverse the order of them. Paste and paste. So now the one that starts with K is the second mood board. Okay. And I will now come back up to here, get rid of these 2 that I have listed here, and then paste the same one again. And there you go. So when we get this back, it'll be, depending on how dramatically different the mood boards are, the order of the mood boards does impact the results. And so, I would love to see what sort of experiences you guys have, say, putting a mood board that's entirely just, maybe comic book art or some sort of ink line art, and then very colorful boards afterward. Which one dominates? Which one takes over? And it's going to be different for everybody because everyone's mood boards are pretty dramatically diverse. But look at what happened when we reversed the mood boards here. Now everything is way darker, way moodier, way more like Crystal Chasm from you guys earlier. And so it is something that's worth doing, is just to kind of like tweak the order of your mood boards until you seem like you find one that's more reputable, more easy to use. But if we go ahead and now say, let's use this new combination here, and let's take one of the prompts from Fungimancer. Look how amazing this is here. I love, this is actually harkening back to the Spellbroke comic style as well, because of the frayed edges, like as if it's from like a papyrus sort of script page. We did this a lot with the early Spellbroke stuff, and you can see links for that from Kinky inside of VC Text here. But I'm going to take their entire prompt, and the only difference that I'm going to apply with this is I am going to make sure that the mood board is reversed. And we're going to see if we get anything dramatically different off of that. Let's go ahead and paste that. Now they are flipped. And I'm just going to copy this entire prompt, bring it into VC Create here. It's not VC Create, into Alpha. And then hit enter here. And we'll take a look at how different these are here. The main thing I'm expecting off of this is that as moody as much of a kind of like a dark like a late evening sort of vibe we're getting, because it's gnomes at the fire, they're reacting to like they're just chatting by the fire, and the mushroom is kind of coming alive and becoming this like sentient humanoid. Let's take a look at what happened when we now run this with it reversed. And we almost got none of this sort of fraying on here. It's only one of them that did. But let's take a look here. Oh, wow. Yeah, like we basically get a like a variation of what we had before, but with more constrained paneling. Like these patterns is what we're looking for here. And like I in terms of making storyboards, this is a little more functional. Like I wouldn't have to clean up these frayed textured edges here. But in terms of like the art style, this may not be what Fungi is looking for. It's just beneficial to know that the order of your mood boards do matter. Okay. All right. From here, let's take a closer look at. Very good to reverse the mood boards. Yeah, it gets a little too chaotic when you have like 8 or 10 mood boards and you like trying to figure out what's the right order, because there is no right order. It's just a thing. But it is something that I'm I am curious to see if you guys find that like super combination, that amazing lineup of mood boards. This one really surprised me. This one was another one from Fungi inside of the this one is using my fantasy board as well, and it's just so cool to see like these gnarled wood hands becoming the roots of the tree becoming these hands and reaching and grabbing. It's just so cool. I really want to see more of this too. And this is your fungi half hour, because I'm gloating about these fantasy images here. But I do want to point out we do have some fun black and white stuff here as well. This one's from Nixie. Nixie is looking at this cute guy here, this cute bug guy here. And what I want to do is first thing I want to do is I want to reformat this prompt just so that it's a little more accurate to the time period. You would not be watching stuff in 16:9 from that time period. So let's go ahead and get this into alpha here. And I'm first going to switch the aspect ratio from 16:9 to 4:3. In fact, 1:1 might even be an appropriate aspect ratio, because like, you talk about really old television, like proper black and white TVs, they were square. But 4:3 does the job just fine. So the thing is about aspect ratio is that it actually will make things more canon, more accurate to the time period, simply because it's framed for the time period. Aspect ratio matters so much. For that reason. So let's take a look. The prompt is a black and white 1950s sci-fi fantasy screen cap. Okay, I will tweak this prompt a little bit, because screen cap, there would not be screen caps of stuff from this time period. But black and white 1950s sci-fi fantasy screen cap depicting a space explorer in a surreal landscape. A spaceship is visible in the background, a tall creature that has multiple limbs and a furry, scaled texture approaching the explorer from the left side. There are many aspects of my ratio. Good, Snoopy. I'm so glad you're here, Snoopy. I was like, okay, if I'm doing 1950s television, I have to have Snoopy here, because we're gonna animate so many things from Snoopy today. But let's go ahead and tweak this prompt a little bit, and in fact, I'm gonna use conversation mode to do it. So first, I will take the conversation mode here. Boop. And then we are going to say that this is, I'm just going to get rid of the word screen cap. It just bothers me that it's in there, because we wouldn't see screen caps necessarily. But let's go ahead and say 1950s sci-fi fantasy. We don't even have to write black and white, because there was no color television in the 50s. But let's do a 1950s sci-fi fantasy. And then I'm going to say in conversation. Actually, let's go ahead and just prompt this first, and then I'll prompt in conversation. Boop. And then conversation mode here. And Oh, that's folders. Conversation mode. Thank you. Let's see what we get, and then I'm going to try to prompt it in direction. Let's add the title card. Let's add a 1950s title card. You're listening from on the way home. Okay, well, if you do want to chime in any sort of old television prompts, feel free to let us know. Oh, it's pulling up old black and white novel art. Okay. We do need to write black and white television. Okay, you got me there. Nixie. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's make sure that it's 1950s black and white television. And then it reimagines the prompt to fit that. Oh, for some reason the aspect ratio got saved as 4:5. Oh, it's rerunning Enid's prompt for some reason. Let's cancel that. Why is it doing that? Let's see. I'm going to try to just rerun the prompt, but this time in conversation mode. And make sure that we have a couple settings on. HD. And RAW. And we can't use the profiles or the srefs or anything like that just yet. Let's do experimental 42 and see if that works. And we'll just go with that. Are we able to use all that? Okay, raw does not work and experimental does not work in conversation mode. Good to know. We are running this in Square, but that's fine. Let's just see what we get off of trying to use conversation mode to lean these results towards a black and white television aesthetic. So we got one of them that's black and white, but now I'm going to say make sure it's in 4:3 aspect ratio and is black and white 1950s television. And you see, conversation mode was actually able to add that parameter for us. We don't even have to know what the parameters are for it to work. You can kind of force conversation to add parameters. You could say add this experiment. Okay, we'll give it a try. Let's add experimental 42 to this prompt as well. That did not work. I kind of thought it didn't, but it is one of those things where it worked before. That's how it goes, right? But look at what it did here. Okay, we now have the 1950s television aesthetic. Okay, that's awesome. But let's see what it actually changed from the prompt before we jump into this. So 1950s sci-fi, space explorer to surreal landscape, spaceship visible in the background. These are things we already described. At the end here it says black and white 1950s television aesthetic. Okay, all right. So it's using the word aesthetic. Let's go ahead and say that this is, because I love educational programming. I think it's a really fun way to kind of twist these results a little bit here. Let's go for 1950s educational television instead of aesthetic. And the only reason I'm doing that is because aesthetic, in my opinion, tends to make things look like this, where it has these like textures to it, like as if I took a photo of it and it's part of like my room decor. I don't want that. Let's go ahead and see what we get off of saying educational programming instead of television aesthetic. Use experimental 50 on all prompts, tested and it worked. Okay, I'll give that a go, Reason. Oh, it's good to see you, Reason. Let's go ahead and now hit conversation mode and then paste that into there. Did it work? I don't know. Imagining. And it didn't do anything. It's all good. It's all good. Oh, you want me to prompt something with it? Okay. Let's hit use, and then I'll try it again. I'm just spitballing here. Let's see what we get, and then I'll hit use that. Not getting anything, but let's move on. Let's move on for now. It's not adding the experimental parameter isn't that important. I'm mostly curious how much it actually puts in in terms of the televisions. Yes, so you can see here, because we said the word educational television, there is a little bit of a framing of a TV that's here. But I'm curious, we should probably try to tell it to avoid blurs as well. But it is also appropriate for the time period that you would have weird rack focus and things like that. All right. Yes, this is way better. This is way better. It looks like someone is on a film set and they just covered the ground with random ferns they found outside in Los Angeles. And we're like, yes, this is an alien planet. Yeah, that's totally what an alien planet looks like. Okay. So what we could do now is we could hit, let's animate this on high and on low and see what that does. We'll do that. We'll check that out here in a minute. And then in VC Create, let's see what else you guys have been up to. Scroll on down. Yeah, and I see Rhapsody's continue to explore this what is it? This aesthetic, this 2D cell shaded vector anime art. It's pretty cool. I'm definitely, I don't know what the intention is here, but if you do you want to do you want to explain?
Yeah, if you go to VC text and just scroll up a little bit, like actually a while until Bird's post with the two images next to each other.
There we go.
Yeah, there he is. On the left side is his Niji 7 result, which of course is crisp and clean and perfect, as Niji 7 is. I think it's optimized for these types of results. On the right side, you see where he's at with version 8, and everything is like over detailed in there. The background especially is just going totally crazy in details. We have far too many shadows and lines and twists going on there. While the aristocrat with like the mask and the horse and stuff is very cool, but it's just over detailed a ton. So what I did in the whole process so far is I tried a bunch of things to gauge where the problem lies. So I ran his prompt in V8, I ran it in SV6. That got pretty close, I guess, to the styling. Just the colors are different, and the amount of details that's in there is still a little bit over the top. Then I removed all the srefs. I looked at what V8 did, and then I slowly added over time more and more descriptors to the prompt, like 2D cell shaded vector anime art, because cell shaded vector art is, of course, it's very, very crisp. We have two-tone shading because I don't want more than 2 tones of shadows in my image, right? If we have more, then suddenly we have gradients and stuff. I added hard cell shading. I added anime key visual. I added limited color palette. Everything just to get the details lower and lower and lower. What I then did was take the original, the target image, the target style, and transform that into a mood board. I just opened a mood board, plopped it in there, and now I'm dialing in the stylized parameter. And there's something very interesting about the stylized parameter that you can see in the last few images, the last 3 runs that are in VC Create right now. I'm working with extremely low stylized values here now.
Right.
I have roughly what I want in my prompt, and I enforced it crazy. Like over 50% of this prompt is now just style description. And then I reduced the stylized parameter more and more down. And now I'm working with a stylized of 1 right now, which is too low. If we look at the last one, it's like
definitely too low.
Crazy weird. If you look 2 images above, I'm at stylized 50, which is almost where I want it to be, but it's still too much. So now slowly increasing the stylized to find the value that is the right one to achieve the style I want. And I will also just quickly post this for you, because stylized is one, when you're trying to do anime stuff and you want to get crisp lines and not get over detailed, Stylize is probably the most important parameter in V8 right now. I'm going to post a video in VC text. You guys can just press play and scroll through there. That's just all the stylize values that I have tried with one specific prompt. And I think you can feel and see the impact pretty significantly there in what stylize is actually doing with anime in V8.
Yeah, and I will say
So,
this too.
this
It's a
is
lot more obvious what Stylize is doing in this version than it is in any previous version of Midjourney, in my opinion.
yes. Yes, and I have to say with the video, you're seeing I'm getting more and more anime like the higher I turn the stylize. That is because I worked with mood boards that target this specific kind of style. In the case of Bird's image, it's the direct opposite. I'm having a mood board that has the perfect style, yes, but what I'm trying to do is reduce the amount of details that I have in the image, right? I'm not trying to add more shadows and do more lines. I actually want to reduce the thing. And also, what I've found with Bird's image is that adding Q4, quality 4, giving V8 that extra time to process things is actually doing a lot. So that might be the way forward for you, Bird, if you want to retain that G7 style but work with V8. Now I'm just going to continue a little bit playing with the stylized value, and then I'm going to let it be, because in the end, V8 is an everything model. It's not designed to be specifically high quality, perfect for
I mean,
anime stuff.
and even
And
at that
we,
though, it's still very much in development. Like it's like we
yes,
need people to say that they don't like images, and then eventually the version of like the data set is more perfected. To do that, you can easily just go to the image. If you just don't like one of the results, you know, especially early on to alphas, you're going to be doing this a lot more often than you're going to be doing it in 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now. If you do not like a result for any reason, just hit this "I do not like" button. I do not like this image. You're training Midjourney to avoid this kind of stuff for your future results. So I highly recommend you guys do that, especially if like a result is kind of like frustrating to you. The more frustrating it is, the more I want you to hit that button, because that's essentially going to help me avoid that for me in the future. And so I will explore a little bit of using some older models to kind of extrapolate some of these results and turn them back into the character that is featured in Bert's thing as well. I think that'll be helpful. But I do have a little bit of black and white television to show off here. In the meantime, I know it's a bit of a haphazard, wild going back and forth with these ones here, because we're getting a lot of questions around illustrations and whatnot, but we are also doing some live action stuff here. So you can see here we're getting a little bit of a dolly footage, which wouldn't really be 100% like accurate. I feel like I need to add to the prompt the kind of film grain and things that was mentioned earlier, to be able to recreate some of this aesthetic. I have added things like there is a black and white, there is a tearing of the film, or some sort of visual effect that is really just recreating the sort of texture that these old films had. We can add that to the prompt to basically say hit use, and then inside of here I'm just going, I have to turn off conversation mode, hit use. And then I'm going to say that this is, instead of the original prompt that's being described here, I'm just going to put in old black and white 1950s film, and scan lines. And what is the last thing? I'm not going to say film tears or anything like that, because otherwise it's going to be like, let's do scan lines and burn-ins. And we'll go with that. So burn-ins are largely when they used to cut film, like traditional film, and you would do literal editing with scissors, there was always a guy smoking a cigarette above the film. And the thing is that you see the little like boop, little like spots of dots of white. That's because someone's cigarette ash landed on the film and it burned a hole. That's where those little dots come from in the old movies. But it is quite funny that you can recreate that. What really? Yeah, that's what they are. It's all cigarette burns. And sometimes if the lamp was a little too hot, it would also create a little bit of a hole in it, but most of them were from cigarettes. But let's see here. Let's take a look at what else you guys got going here. I see more black and white. Well, that's hilarious. I'll never look at old movies the same way again. Yeah, you just gotta imagine some guy with like a green, slightly translucent cap, like a accountant ticker looking guy, big guy with a bit of a belly, going through footage with a cigarette in his mouth, and he's just like looking at that perfect frame to cut. And because he's looking back and forth with his head, he's shifting his head left and right. That cigarette ash is falling everywhere. Yes. Okay, all right. I'm seeing with the 69 here, we have a little more lean in on the deep shadows, vintage sci-fi. Yes, that's are they not chastised for ruining the film? They were just not like the executives, especially the people producing the movies. They just didn't even see it. Honestly, they were just like, "It's a movie. All right, send it to put it in the can. Let's go." You know, but let's go ahead and see. Ooh, all right. So this is your 1950s television guy here, and look at the blurring is perfect for this time period. It's right. Depreciated nitrate film transfer, yeah. But let's go ahead and hit animate on these ones as well. And I want to see if we're able to, because I do want to eventually start selling products doing this, like fake selling. I don't actually want to sell products, but I would love to like make up random products that don't make sense and then put them on television, like, like they're like you're like supposed to call in to a line kind of thing. I would love to see some of those from you guys as well. But with the animation here, let's see if we. Okay, yes, we're still rendering those, so we'll go back to those in a minute. In terms, I see Rhapsody still working on some stylized tweaking here. And what else do we got?
Yeah, 35 seems to be pretty good for the level of details that I want.
Okay. Kinky, do you want to do the announcements real quick?
Hello. I'd love to. Hi, everybody. I'm here to talk to you about prompt battles this weekend. We are going to be doing prompt battles on Sunday this weekend, Sunday only, because I won't be around on Saturday. So it is good that I'm here to make an announcement today. Because I don't want anybody to plan out their day around the battles and then not be able to go. Plus, there's something much better that you guys can all be doing, I'm sure. So Sunday, we're going to be playing prompt battles for 8 hours. What we do is we start around 12:30 p.m. Eastern, and we go until 7 p.m. Eastern. And what we do is we play a little game where we all prompt the same idea for 10 minutes, and then we come back and we post it in something called the poll unit. And the poll unit makes it so that everybody can put their idea or their image in anonymously. And then we all look at it and we vote on it anonymously and come up with a winner. And the winner of that round wins a free fast hour, and they get to tell everybody what to do for the next round. It's really fun. People are super nice. You get to make new friends and win free fast hours, just like Enid said. I hope you do, please. Yes, I was really excited to meet you, Typhon. And yeah, I want you guys to come around and become part of the community. Talk to people. You can even talk just in text if you want. You don't have to speak on a microphone. And if you don't want to talk to us at all, not even in text, you don't have to. That's a whole thing that can happen. But there's all kinds of ways you can make free fast hours. You can win at bingo. You can be there when a mod or a guide wins. You can, there's just so many things. We have the Fast Hour Foundation from Friends for when somebody wins an hour and they don't particularly need it. They'll give it to somebody who has a $10 plan. We got all sorts of things going on at prompt battles. Learn how to prompt something that is out of your wheelhouse. And yeah, I hope to see you Sunday.
Oh, thank you so much for that, Kinky.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, no, this is. Thank you so much for that. That was. I really do appreciate prompt battles in general because it just lets you get out of your box. You know, you find. We were just talking about how we get stuck in boxes and we're afraid to leave, but no, prompt battles is the best place to touch grass. Um,
I confess that I've gotten out of my box during prompt battles before, and it
I
did not hurt me.
am no longer afraid. It looks really close, just off a bit. Yeah, totally right. Rhapsody actually is doing really good with these. Getting
Yeah,
V8 to behave
I have
closer to
to.
like Niji 7.
I have to admit, I have cheated a little bit because what I just thought is, what I just was talking about. Over 50% of that prompt was, um, was describing the type of image I want, but not the image itself, which is a problem for V8. Because it tries up to dream stuff, but it doesn't know what, and then things get weird. So what I quickly did, I posted Bird's image to an LLM and asked it to just give me a more detailed description of the figure. So I could insert that into the prompt that I already have.
Right.
And as you can see, adding all of these details, balancing out the prompt in the end, brought me extremely close. Like I dialed in stylize, I have my mood board. I added the sref back in. And now I'm in the last step. I'm adding a little bit of EXP to get more of this glowy, strong contrast, dark and light feeling into it. And I think that's the point where I will just quit for today because I think that's almost perfect. That's as close as you can get with
Yeah.
V8.
With
The
with the
only
alpha.
thing,
With the
the
alpha
only,
V8.
yeah, yes, of course, with the alpha of V8, in 3 weeks everything could be different again, right? So we will see.
Yeah, we will see. We'll see. I definitely
I
want to
hope.
take. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just hope it helps Bert a little bit to understand the process, and everybody else, and how important stylize is. Um, I had my struggles too, especially when it comes to transferring old works by referencing it into V8. It's a hard process of rethinking because so much more has to be in the prompt with V8. And I cannot emphasize how important that is currently.
Yeah. And now I do want to emphasize. I do want to experiment a little bit. So we're gonna go off we're just gonna riff here a little bit. I'm gonna take this now refined image from V8. I'm gonna hit copy on here. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the other image from Bert here as a reference probably Omni reference first. We're going to give that a try. Uh, so if I go ahead and jump ourselves to Midjourney's website here, I'm just going to paste Rhapsody's image. And you notice here that the bar only says style reference. That's the default for version 8 because version 8 only has style references for now. We don't even have image prompting inside of V8 right now. So that means that we can write -- version 7. And we're back. We're back to all of the larger tool set that we're used to. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to now shift this image from Rhapsody from style references to image prompts. Okay. What this is going to do is it's going to preserve the composition of this image. And it's essentially the higher the more value we give to this image weight, the more it's going to look like this image. You could even max that out to image weight 2, and it would almost be a 1-to-1 with this. We don't want that. We want it to have some interpretation here. And now inside of Omni reference, I'm going to take the image from Niji 7, and I will use that. There we go. Let's go ahead and close out this other one. There we go. And now I'll paste this into here, and I'm going to use this as an Omni reference. And then taking everything that Rhapsody had applied from this prompt, I'm just going to copy it. It is definitely written for V8 rather than V7, but what I'm going to essentially do is first paste this into here and take a look at it and see how well it works for what we want to do. The prompt is so big it actually compressed a couple things here, but we'll go ahead and now set the aspect ratio to something tall, so it's a little bit similar. Let's go with 1:2 here. 1:2, and then I'm gonna hit submit on this. Oh, it deleted all my stuff. Hold on a second. Why did it do that? Why is this OmniReference? Why is it not showing me the images on the bottom of this bar here anymore? Okay, hold on a second, guys. Sorry. This is a bit of a bug here with the bar here. Let's go ahead and paste this image back. Copy. And then paste. Okay, now we have that image back as the OmniReference, and inside of the image prompt, I want to take this image, copy, paste. It seems like if I copy a prompt, it sometimes doesn't like it when I already had images in there. But let's go ahead and hit submit on this now. And I can do the same thing with Niji 7. You can see that the description within version 7, right, did pretty good. But I'm going to go ahead and now run this in Niji 7 as well. You can see that the composition is almost preserved throughout. You might get occasionally that it's mirrored, right? That the images get mirrored by image prompts, but we are already much closer to the original image, the OmniReference that's here. So we need to do some balancing here. But did it also forget the images on this one here? I have to see what the final result is here because it's kind of skipping this step for me. But let's take a look at this here. All right. So out of all these, it's almost exactly the same image from Bert. 4 times over. It's just one is mirrored. So that means that the OmniReference is too strong. If I come into here, you could slide this bar around to change the OmniReference. We're going to switch that to, let's just say 20. We're going to just lower it pretty good here. And we could also change the action or from the description of this this character here. We could change like what he's doing on the horse and be able to use OmniReference as more of as the guide for that. But the image prompt is largely what's locking in this aspect ratio. It's why we're always seeing the horse on the bottom right corner for all of these results. So let's also add a new parameter into there, -IW, that stands for image weight. And let's drop it to something like 0.25. And then I'm going to hit submit on that as well. So we have an OmniReference of 20, a image weight of 0.2, and then a rather large description of the character for that Rhapsody provided here. And so depending on what we set this image weight to is how alike it's going to be in composition. And then we will basically change what this composition is, change what we want to see in this image, because it's right now it's just reiterating the same thing. We're basically just trying to see how consistent is this with all these results. So let's take a look-see here. Just a couple more minutes, or just a couple more seconds. Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, it's very similar in all of them. The line art quality is about the same. That's what we want. Okay, so now I'm going to change the direction of this. We already set the image weight pretty low, so this image here is not going to be too strong. He's definitely like talking to camera in this one. So let's bump that up now to like 1.25, and now we should see a little more of this character being like looking at camera in this aspect ratio. But now I'm also going to change his actions with a new prompt as well. So let's go ahead and say that this is the man on the horse is clapping. And like I said, I have the image prompt pretty high right now, so it's going to probably be clapping in this aspect ratio right here. But look what it did. It changed the direction of his face to be looking towards camera, which is closer to the reference or the image prompt rather than the original prompt. The negative of going too high with the image weight is it tends to make the images a bit messier. So let's divide this in half just so that we have a good balance between the two. And I'm going to say that because so much of this prompt is now is basically description of this character here. The man and the horse is clapping. I'm curious what happens if I go ahead and hit submit on this now, and then I'm going to delete all of the description from Rhapsody here. The skeletal man.
Oh, my word, God.
All my work gone. Right. All that went into really producing the guiding image prompt for it. But I'm curious between these extremes how different they are. But I'm mostly excited about this second image here because it's getting there in terms of what we are intending. I just want to be able to change him, but he's not clapping in any of these. But in up here, he is certainly clapping. And so what essentially what I'm trying to describe for you guys is that we can do all that work that went into describing the character, putting that into there, and then use it as an omni reference and an image prompt to guide us through these images. So now we have him clapping. It's almost done here. It's still very blurry. Hold on a second. Haha, there you go. Now we have him clapping, and the art style's the same. It looks good. I think this works for this. Yeah. It really just takes
It's also
going back and using older models to get back to tools that we're used to when it comes to actually using it for utility. Alpha's not meant for that right now. We'll get there, but it's not meant for that right now.
Yeah, but that's also something that I found. V7 with OmniReference is really good at taking in V8 images that you like. Like it's for some I can't put my finger on it yet why that is, but it works. Like let's put it that way. When we used OmniReferences and inputted V6 images, we got a lot of crap out of it. If we now put V8 images into an older model, which is V7, it just works magic because I think the original image quality is so much better. Like, I don't know, something's going on there, but it works really well.
Yeah. It's worth experimenting with further. And I'm very curious to see what sort of stuff you guys are able to get into. But and just to kind of emphasize here, you could see that I was able to even get a more zoomed out version of this image just by increasing the omni weight to a really high number, so like 225 or so. And we almost got him still clapping, but in the original image. So balancing these values is what's going to be. V7 eats up V8. Super nice. Yeah, exactly. That's something. That's just a pet. The man on the horse is clapping. Thank you, Snoopy. That's exactly what I was hoping for. Was 1950s title cards like this. That's great. That's awesome. Yeah. You can see we almost got him clapping here. He's got two hands, but it is certainly true that we're definitely experimenting with different values and different especially omni weights when it comes to using version 7. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to take us back to VC Create now. And I see that you guys have been doing 1950s, 1970s movie monsters. That's awesome. I definitely think that maybe we should have a whole thing about monsters, like particularly 1950s monsters. At least in my opinion, that would be a lot of fun. You know what this is reminding me of, though, Snoopy? It's reminding me of like how they used to get animals to talk on camera. They would dub their voices over later, but they would shove peanut butter into the lips of horses and monkeys in order to make them do the like showing their teeth and lip clapping. They just fill them up with peanut butter. So it's quite common in black and white films for you to notice that their teeth are really grimy, and it's because it's all peanut butter. That's the only way I talk on Discord, right? Hey! Hey! There, yeah, exactly. It's this. Yeah, there you go. You can see. From what show is that? I forgot the original show that this is.
It's Mr. Ed.
Mr. Ed, thank you. Yeah, I really should know my old TV better.
My name is Mr. Ed. But if you what if you prompted a character and then videoed them into chewing peanut butter? That'd be kind of interesting.
That would be, and it's just gonna like spit out a whole jar of peanut butter from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, they'll probably have to show the peanut butter.
But no, this is great.
Pretending to chew. Pretending to chew. All right. Bye.
All right, this guy in the image has been the focus of Prompt Craft Battles, Midjourney Studio, and now the Gnarly Stream. Yeah, I bet. I bet you've been taking the rounds on this image, Bert. And there has been images like that behind the scenes that we've been also being like, this is what's giving us the most trouble. We would love to see improvements in this department, this area here with
Holding a
V8.
Glock.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
haven't posted any character holding a Glock in a while.
That is true. It used to be, I believe it was during version 5, that we would calibrate our characters by asking them to hold a Glock. And it was too funny. It's such a funny way to get it to where it's like, oh yeah, if it reliably looks like the character, but they're still doing the action that we added, including the prop. Just holding a Glock was the most fun one to do. So. Nowadays we don't have to worry about it doing anything like that. Even with like V8 and stuff, like characters are going to hold props whether it be the way we describe them. So not worried about that. The man on the horse is clapping. There you go. I've also noticed this quite a lot when you do the 1950 stuff. You will get a lot of old animated stuff as well. If you use the prompt rubber hose animation, you are going to get the old animation style, like 1930s, style, and that will definitely be up the alley of a few of you all, including Snoopy. But at this point, guys, I want to hear from you guys what you want to do next week when it comes to whether I should continue exploring V8 in this haphazard and chaotic manner, or whether we should dive into one of our old projects, or whether we want to maybe do this 1950s monster movie. I think it would be fun to do like the equivalent of like all the failed monsters, like all the monsters that didn't make it to prime time, that didn't make it to the silver screen, all the pitches of movies that didn't work.
Monster Casting, the Monster Casting show.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Z-rated movies. Yes, exactly. Z movies. I love that. Or G movies, like gnarly movies. Yeah. Let's do it, guys. In my opinion, that would be the most fun. Monster movie called Haphazard and Chaotic. Yeah, there you go. It's a duo comedy film about two monsters named Haphazard and Chaotic. I dig it. But I do want to hear from you guys, so I recommend you guys join the Gnarly Studio server to be able to, chat with us, collaborate, and check out the cool stuff that we're all doing together on that server. You can find it by looking at the links here inside of VC Text. Kinky has been regularly posting them inside of VC Text, but you should find the green Join Server button right there. You see Go to Server, right? Mm-hmm. That's the button you want to hit. Thank you so much. That's the button you want to hit to take you to this server right here. And Gnarly Studios is where you can post your original characters. It's where you can get all sorts of cool tips and tricks and just keep up with us. It's a really fun way. It's a really just cool group, and I love the community that we have here. We do something after the stream called the Show After the Show, which you can hop on and start talking to us directly and just chat with us. Let us know what you're up to. And it just gives us some time to hang out after the stream. It also is just a really great way to get to know the other people who are regulars here. On Wednesdays, this coming Wednesday, we have our jam sessions. The jam session is a great spot to share your projects and to have us collaborate. I guess you could officially say that somebody who worked on Adult Swim thing worked on your project if you bring it to the jam session. I'm happy to claim that with you. And
also this week in the jam session, we're maybe even gonna split up into 2 rooms. We will see, because I offered Fungimancer, if he has time this Wednesday, we still have to make that out, to just walk him through how to make basically animated comic panels into an animated kind of comic, like micro thing, with some cutting and introduction into DaVinci Resolve. That's one thing that happens there. When you bring your own project, you have questions, so that's where we can just sit around and answer them. It's really a great thing. Sometimes we're showing off workflows, like we had God, I'm blanking on the name right now. Who was it? With the great animation.
Oh,
come on,
Green,
brain.
Was it Green? No, it wasn't Green Fox, was
No,
it?
it's George. It's
George.
George.
George, thank you.
It's George.
Yes, George.
Yeah, he came on and showed us how he made an amazing, like 10 out of 10, like animation
Yeah, I love
of
George's
like 1 or
seminar.
2 minutes.
Honestly, I know
Yes.
George was like so like kind of like conscious about his After Effects project, but dude, you knocked it out of the park with that. I was so happy you did that,
Yes.
man. And you taught me a
Crazy
few
good.
things. You know, I learned about a new plugin that I need to play with. I learned, yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for doing that, George, and it's very valuable.
Yep. And sometimes we just show off other workflows to solve other problems, or I talk about organizing your assets with third-party programs that are just amazing. Whatever. Wednesdays are crazy. Just show up.
Yeah, and then on Thursdays we have something called our game nights, which is basically has turned mostly into Catan night, but it is a lot of fun to play games with you guys and just kind of mess around, get to know you guys in a more like relaxed environment and whatnot. It's definitely, I mean, it's always relaxed, but it's definitely. I'm not trying to make art. I am just trying to beat you guys at the board game that we're playing usually. So I definitely have fun at game nights, and I hope you guys join for that as well. But at this point, I'm seeing a lot of really fun 1950s monster stuff inside of VC Text. I feel like that's what we're going to end up doing. Whatever I planned on doing at this stream is going to be now in the next stream in terms of the monster stuff. So let's go with that. Let's have some fun with that next week. So I want to see more of the monster stuff throughout the week. But my friends are so amazing. That's awesome, Enid. Yes, and you can see this, like all the stuff we messed with today is being implied here or applied with Enid's image here. That's awesome. But I blanked. It goes crying in the corner. I'm gonna go. Oh, okay, I see now. Yes, it is certainly true that there's a good chunk of you guys here that we come in and out, and we yes, I'm just so stoked to have everybody here on in the group together, making cool stuff, making neat projects and original videos as well. It's just so fun. It's so fun, especially with how you guys are using videos to like react to people in real time. Like you guys have a problem with something and you just make a protest video within a day, and suddenly you have like a Hollywood industry grade protest, like complaint or anything like that. It's amazing. It is truly amazing what we're able to do today. So I see Rhapsody has gone and hidden in the corner now. That's too funny. But okay, guys, that's all I got for you today. But if you are interested in any of these things, feel free to join the server and hang out with us. But thanks again to Rhapsody for being here, for AC and Kiki for making this all possible, and you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for being here and making this worth it. So
Thank you guys.
yeah, thank you. All right, you'll have a wonderful night. Take care. Wiggle wiggle.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. Wiggle wiggle. Bye.